Look. Well, hello and welcome back. Here we are
Hello,
again. Hillary decided to show up this weekend.
I did. Hello,
Um,
Randy and Joseph.
yeah,
Joseph says this is the highlight of his weekend. I hope that isn't true.
yeah, yeah, Joseph. Let's. I don't know. We'll do our best to make it the highlight. Um, we just got done with 4th of July, so why don't you give everyone a rundown on what you and your man did last week?
Okay, Will knows what we did, so I don't know if this is what he's getting at here. He wants me to tell the story, but we didn't do that much to actually celebrate the 4th. It was raining on the 3rd. It was just kind of a gloomy day, and so we thought, I guess let's just paint the trim in our upstairs. Our upstairs is one floor, but that's our bedroom. And so we were thinking it was going to be a nice little afternoon project. And it's been, like over a week now, and we're still not finished.
Yeah,
I
so if anyone didn't get emails or anything this week, it's because Hillary took the week off to paint.
I've been painting and just messing things up nonstop. It's been a journey, but I think we're almost done. So my 4th was not very exciting, but Will did like every activity there is to do in Montana on the 4th of July. And you guys probably all saw that in his video. So his was a lot better than mine was. I was just trying to paint and failing.
As you can see behind her, look at the paint job. Isn't that amazing?
I did paint this room also, and Will always says it looks like I'm in an asylum or something, that I need to get something in the backdrop, but it's a process, and I'm waiting for a desk, and I don't want to decorate until I have that in here. So just leave me alone, Will.
Another thing that we should bring up before we get into everyone's questions is I've gotten, I did a video a few weeks ago about Glacier Park and the ticket system and all that. Well, apparently some people must think that I work for the park because I've gotten numerous calls from people wanting me to get them tickets into the park. And just so everybody knows, I do not work for the park. I was doing that as kind of a PSA. But yeah, people are calling me wanting tickets and, oh, we're leaving in 3 days and we don't have tickets. So, can you give me a ticket? And the answer is no. And if you watch the video back again, you will see how to do it. It's pretty easy, recreation.gov. And if you didn't get your tickets 90 days ago when they first went on sale, you have to wait until the day before and be online right at 8 o'clock and get them. Have you tried it lately?
I have not, but I already have tickets for every day. So I haven't needed to get back on and check. But it was actually pretty easy this year to get tickets. So I'm hoping that stays the same for the people who have to get on the day before. I remember last summer, it seems like I would get on pretty early in the morning and everything would be sold out. And this year I was getting on, I could kind of just log on whenever on the day they became available, and there was always some left. So I didn't have any problems getting tickets this year. So hopefully that's how it is for these last batches that are being released, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, we have tickets for the Going to the Sun Road for every day but Mondays all summer long. But we don't have any tickets to the North Fork, and we have some friends coming up in a few weeks, and we were going to take them up to Bowman Lake and Polbridge, and I realized we don't have tickets, so we're going to have to do that as well and get on the day before and
Oh, I'm going to put
do
this
it that
comment,
way.
but Jenna just said that she tried at 8 and they were all gone by 8:01. So
Well, there you go. I was
there you
just
go.
about to say doesn't seem like there's as many people in town, but apparently there are.
Yeah.
trying to get
We were
tickets.
just talking about that the other day. It doesn't seem like it's been as crazy this year. So I don't know, but good luck with getting tickets. Will is not the ticket master.
Actually, the true ticket master would be your girl Hillary there, who gets a parking ticket weekly from the police in Whitefish. So she would be the actual ticket master.
He's not wrong.
Um,
Oh my
oh, and
goodness.
then maybe Hillary, you can give everybody a little sneak peek at what we're doing in 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh. So Will texts me the other night and tells me and asks me what I'm doing on the 23rd or whatever day it is. And so, I mean, I never know like what he's got planned. So it's like, I don't have any plans. Why? Like, what is this going to be? And then he sent me a link to a YouTube channel and told me to check it out. But there is a pair of girls that are located in Browning. Is that right, Will?
I believe they live over there. That's where all their videos come from.
And they are, they know they're Sasquatch hunters, Sasquatch experts, masters, if you will. And they've got a ton of videos and they put together these hikes where they take you out and you look for Bigfoot and there's a special call apparently that Will's really excited to learn. But we are going to go on the 23rd and participate and take a video. So that'll be fun.
So there you are. There's your sneak peek. It's probably going to be our best video ever.
I would guess so. I don't know
Stay
how it could.
tuned. But you can tell them about the video that you participated in yesterday.
Oh, and then yesterday we went out and saw a really cool property in Polebridge. It's off grid. So Will had done a video about off grid properties at one point and ended up having to take it down. And so we've got an agent in our office with this off grid listing, and it was kind of the perfect opportunity to go out and make another video to kind of explain what off grid really looks like, and then also give you guys a tour of this off grid property, which is pretty luxurious. It was really cool and beautiful. We put up some stories on our Instagram yesterday so you can get an idea. Just the views are amazing. But that was a fun all day activity, and that will be coming out soon as well.
Yes, it will. And yeah, Hillary, she doesn't get in many videos, so this was a big day for her yesterday.
It was. I give you a little tour. Thank you.
So if you ever need anything painted white, give her a call. She's not only the best realtor in Whitefish, she's also the best painter.
It might take me a month to finish it, but oh my goodness. Okay. Questions. Michael asks, is Montana a non-disclosure state? How do appraisers determine the market value? And we are non-disclosure. We get questions about that specifically a lot. It seems like people are always asking, especially just wanting to know what other people have offered, what something went under contract for. And we can't give out that information, although we can see what it eventually sells for, but it's not public knowledge.
Yeah, we have access to the sold prices on MLS. If somebody sold it, through an agent, through a realtor, then it shows up on MLS and we see the close price. And the appraisers are also part of MLS, so they see it. But if something's sold, for sale by owner, they don't have to report it. So that is how they do it here, or that's how the appraisers do it here. Let's see. Along the same line, how are property taxes determined if sale value is not disclosed? Well, they go off the value. So technically, if it was back to that scenario, if it was for sale by owner, they would just use other comps. of that type, of that house, and it goes off the, the perceived value or whatever the state thinks your place is valued. So if there isn't an actual record of your house, and if a house was built 10 years ago and the people built it and it's never been on the market, same thing. They come up with a value from other sold comps in the area and adjust it accordingly, determined by the age and quality and neighborhood and 10,000 other things. So I hope that answers that question.
More pricing
Do
question.
you use a CMA to price a home and or Zillow homeowner's opinion? Just curious, I'm seeing to write this estimate. Well, here's the interesting thing about that. So Zillow now has become a broker, which is what they said they were never going to do. They always, said, "Oh, we're just a website, whatever." But now they're a brokerage, so they also have access to our MLS. So hopefully, there's estimates will get better, because before they had access to it, there's estimates were way, way, way off.
Way
But
off.
but now, and even now, I still see some that are off. I mean, they shouldn't be at this point, but they should be getting better. So yes, if you're asking us personally, do we do that? Do you
I
use
would
a CMA? Yeah.
use CMAs to price homes. And yeah, we pull stats from the MLS. Usually we never get on Zillow and use that to, come up with like an educated price point for a home. But hopefully they are getting better. But no, we would never go to Zillow and use that to base our price off of.
That is correct.
And the homeowner's opinion, yes, we obviously take that into consideration, but then we try to give them information to help kind of point them in the right direction.
Yeah, homeowners always get emotionally attached to their house, which I understand. I get it, but we try and explain what it's actually worth, just compared to, because I've used this for years now. People, unfortunately, they don't care that your kid learned how to walk there, and they don't care that you got married there, whatever. They care that the house down the street sold for way less than you're pricing it. So we try and explain to people that's what they look at. It's like when you go into a store, you go into Target to buy laundry detergent. They're all basically the same price. If there was one that was $20 more than the next one, everybody would be like, well, what's up with this? And nobody would buy it. Well, it's the same thing with houses. So yes, I guess I'll stop rambling, but we try and explain to people what the true value is, and sometimes they listen and sometimes they don't.
That is correct. Say Hey Kid says, hopefully you're having a terrific weekend. As a retiree, which city has the best health care and community for seniors? Unfortunately, I'm not a millionaire.
You can take this one.
I am not sure the answer to this. I would need to kind of look into it. I don't know off the top of my head what.
Well, I'd say Kalispell for the healthcare, because they have the big regional hospital there.
Yeah.
We have a hospital also in Whitefish, but it's a lot smaller. And it's owned by the Kalispell Hospital, but the hospital in Kalispell is very big. It's regional, so it brings in people, come in from all over the Northwest. They use that hospital, so it's a good sized hospital, and it's a good hospital. And there's a lot of housing right around it too, if you're looking for that. So yeah, if you want more information, let me throw that one up. Did you raise your hand?
I was just going to say, there you go, Kalispell.
And there you go. If you want, I just changed the banner at the bottom. If you want a link to our MLS that will show you everything that's currently for sale in Kalispell, you can just email us and we'll send it out. On that note, we are seeing a lot more houses coming on the market. I mean, last year at this time, we would get, 3 or 4 a day. We get a thing every morning called the hot sheet, and it shows everything that is new to the market in the last 24 hours. So last year, like I said, there'd be 3 or 4, 2 or 3 each day new listings, and now the last month, if not more, we've been seeing 20 to 30. So we're getting a lot more coming on the market, which is good if you're trying to buy. So
Yes, for sure. So this kind of we'll go along with the next question. Good afternoon, Will and Hillary. How is the availability of view property in your area? I'm thinking of territory type views. There's a ton of properties with views in this valley. Lots of different views all over the place. But yeah, we've got a lot of views. And like Will just said, we're getting a ton more listings. So that is always good. But if you want if you don't have the MLS yet and you want it, just send us an email and we'll get it out to you.
Well, I told someone this the other day, unless you're living right in the middle of a town or in a real tight subdivision where you're in the middle of it, you really can't not have a view in this part of the state. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
There's mountains surrounding this whole valley. If you're coming from, I don't want to rip on any place, but if you're coming from a place, well, say like Nebraska.
I knew that was coming.
There's not a bad view. So.
Yeah. It is true. Is it required that a seller sign an offer rejection to give the buyer? If not, how does the buyer know if the offer was actually presented?
You're supposed to do that. Some people don't. And yeah, I mean, usually it's verbal. I had a deal not too long ago where the lady was like, yeah, I'm not even going to respond because the offer was so low. So it doesn't always happen. Yeah, technically, I guess you don't actually know, but we're required. Again, I'm not sure how you could prove it. But you're required, if someone gives us an offer, we're required to present it. Do sometimes people not? Probably. But it's kind of, I don't know why you wouldn't present an offer unless if it was so crazy low that, you just read it to them over the phone, which is, again, that happens. But yeah, I guess the answer is not everybody will sign it. But it'd be kind of weird if it wasn't that far off of the asking price. And you can also ask your agent to present it to them. And Hillary's never had to do this, or I don't know if you even know this, but you can say, I would like to present this to the seller. They don't have to allow you to do that, or the seller doesn't have to. They can say, no, just give it to my agent. But people do that sometimes, and they want us to go present the offer for them in person with the seller. So,
well, and I will also say that I guess you definitely don't get a signed rejection in every case. I just remember when the market was crazy and we were working with buyers, sending in offers on homes that had like 10 other offers for the sellers to go through. And I mean, it's not like we got anything back then. They would say, we're going to review at this time. And then we would wait around. And then sometimes we'd get an email just like, sent to everybody except the one who got the house. Like, hi, thanks for your offers. We decided to go something else. Thanks. And that's all we got. So just another example of that.
That is a very good point. I did not think of that scenario, but yes, Hillary is right on. That did happen a lot. We're kind of back to the current market. The days of numerous multiple offers may be over. It seems like, with what's going on at the moment, which again is good for buyers. But the interest rates have kind of wiped out a lot of people that were, in the market for a certain price, and now the prices are kind of delayed and coming. They'll eventually come back down, but we're kind of in the standoff right now where the sellers still think their house is worth way more than it is, and the buyers are like, I'm not paying that. So we're seeing price reductions, and we're seeing things stay on the market for a lot longer than last year at this time. So
yeah. On a property that is on well and or septic, what are the normal annual maintenance costs for those systems, if any?
Well, Dave, it kind of depends on, if it's a community well, like if you're in a subdivision out of town, that's usually built right into your HOA fees. If it's your own well, there's really, unless you have problems with it, there's really not a whole lot of maintenance. It's just an electric pump that pulls the water out of there, and then your pressure tank. And there's not tons you really have to do. As far as the septic, you were supposed to pump those about every 3 years, and that's like $400. Do you remember, Hillary? Didn't we just have that done for someone? I think it's $350 to $400.
I think so.
So those would be the fees. So yeah, not tons.
What is the biggest environmental risk to buying property in Montana? Wildfires, smoke, earthquake, drought, flood, or something else? I would say, I don't know, smoke. I definitely deal with smoke. It depends on where you are also. If you're in town, I don't think wildfires are as big of a concern. But we do deal with the smoke from the wildfires.
Yeah, last year. What's that?
I guess this year it would just flood.
Yeah. Last year, I did hear of some insurance companies that were, cutting their insurance or not giving out insurance to people that were buying way out in the woods because of all the fires. So, I guess that's probably, of the things you listed, that would be the biggest thing, is just your wildfire insurance, depending on, again, if you're buying in town, that's not going to be the issue. It's with the people that want land out, on the side of the mountain, because it goes off of how far you are from a fire department or fire hydrant, and how you're going to be able, and even the condition of your property. If it's like heavily wooded and never been thinned out, the insurance will be worse than if they call it parking it out. A lot of people go in and kind of take out every third tree, and it's like a park. It's a lot more open and a lot less susceptible to fires when we get to that point of the summer.
We have a food business that would go great in a place like Missoula for the college kids. How is the commercial real estate market availability near the college? I would say send us an email so we can get you the MLS, and then you can look at it. We're happy to pull it up and do a search for you and send you some options. I do not know how many are listed right now off the top of my head, but I would say kind of same as everything else. We're seeing more and more get listed every day. So
yeah, and the commercial business, or the commercial real estate, is very fluid. It's always changing availability. And I apologize. I have not looked at the commercial listings in Missoula in the last couple weeks. So, yeah, like Hillary said, if you want, we can send you what's available. But yeah, things come available all the time. It just depends what exactly you're looking for and the size and all of that. So.
North of Flathead Lake versus south of the lake, are there any major pros and cons to either one? I know south of the lake is much bigger, talking about the valley area.
Pros and cons, it depends what you want. If you want to be closer to the Home Depots and the Costcos, then you want to be on the north end of the lake, because otherwise you're either driving up here or you're driving down to Missoula. You're kind of right in the middle down there. So, and then the south, halfway down Flathead Lake is the beginning of the Flathead Indian Reservation, and that extends all the way down to just north of Missoula. And so there's some different rules and laws that affect you with that. So that's not really a pro or a con. I'm just throwing it out there. But they're both beautiful. I mean, the south side of the south end of the lake, the Mission Valley down there, the views of the Mission Mountains are incredible down south of Ronan and St. Ignatius area. So I mean, it depends what you want. They're both good.
Definitely preference, and definitely depends on what you're looking for specifically. During the summer, is there humidity and or bugs, mosquitoes, or other flying biters? This is an interesting question because I feel like we don't have bad mosquitoes. That was something that I noticed when I moved here. I thought it was great. I mean, every once in a while, if you go on a specific hike, there will be a lot of bugs, but no, I don't think it's a big problem here. It's also not humid. But this year I've been noticing mosquitoes, and I read that it's going to be like a record year for them. And I think it's because we've had so much rain and they breed in like the stagnant water. So that made sense. But normally I would say, no, I don't think.
Just comparing it to the Midwest, where the mosquitoes will carry you away.
It's true.
The people here, when they're complaining about mosquitoes, again, I've the mosquitoes in Minnesota or the mosquitoes in Nebraska, I just look at the people here that are complaining. I'm like, this is nothing. But yeah, it's not bad. And like Hillary said, there's some areas, we camped once down at what's the name of that lake? Holland Lake down the Swan, and it was Minnesota bad. I mean, they were horrible the week we were there, or the few days we were there. But then up here, I don't know, maybe because we're not right near a lake. Well, we are, but I don't know. I don't know if it's too cold. The water's moving too much, but yeah, the mosquitoes aren't anything like they are back in the Midwest. That's for sure.
Yeah. For sure. Randy wants to know, what is year-over-year increase in property tax in your area?
That I can't put a number on that because it goes off of the value of the house, and they do it every 2 years. They reassess. And so we don't know. They just tried to they tried to get it on the ballot, and it failed. I just read, which was a little disturbing. They were trying to put a cap on it, and for some reason, a bunch of people got together and were able to make that not happen. So there will be no cap. And I think a lot of people are going to be a little shocked, especially this next assessment, because the values have gone through the roof, and they're going to pass that along to you in your taxes. So
Sarah says they're just north of Flathead Lake, and they've noticed that the weather system seemed to hit the south side much harder than on the north.
Yeah, I mean, lately that's kind of been the case. I'm not sure if I don't know enough about the history of weather patterns, but for sure this year, yeah, I just saw someone was posting on Facebook, I think this morning, about the hail that they got in Big Fork. It was like
It
golf
looked
ball.
crazy.
Did you see
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was the storm 2 days before that that hammered Kalispell, and um, same thing, just horrible hail. There was one, I don't know if you saw this, I forget who posted it, but this guy he was out on his boat in Woods Bay when it hit, and he was trying to, or he must have been near Big Fork, because they showed a poor guy, they showed a picture of his back, and he would just got hammered by the hail until he was able to get under the bridge there by Big Fork where the highway goes
Ow.
over. That's where he hid out. But his shirt was off and his back was just, it was not pretty.
Oh, that is
So
sad.
yeah, that would not have been
Yes.
fun.
Sarah also agrees that the mosquitoes are bad this year. I know, but it's weird because, like, I've been saying they're not bad here, but I have noticed them as well, even just like out walking my dog around the neighborhood. It's like, why am I getting bitten by mosquitoes?
Montana Deb says they're awful, so she must be from here originally. But yeah, compared to the Midwest, they aren't even this year. I mean, they're worse this year than normal, but they're still not like Minnesota quality mosquitoes.
Yeah, or Nebraska, so I'll take it. Um,
What do we got next?
I don't know
More
about this.
bug.
Super Center, Starbucks Super Centers going in Whitefish, Stevensville, and Bozeman.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, there's Montana Deb. Wicked hail. Yes, it was bad. So we kind of caught up on questions for a minute. So Hillary's fiance went hiking up in Glacier Park, I don't know, a few days ago. Did they get hit by any of those storms?
No, he said it didn't even rain.
Oh, they got lucky.
Yeah, they did.
Let's see, Joseph. Are there any major fishing businesses around Flathead Lake that catch for restaurants and the like? No, I mean the fishing businesses are more for sport. Like you can charter boats to go out and catch fish for yourself, but I don't know of any that catch them for the restaurants. And I don't. I'm almost positive that doesn't happen there. I think they have rules on where you get your food. It's not like I can go out to Flathead Lake and catch a bunch of fish and then bring them into one of the restaurants. I think they have to come from an actual certified fishery, and I don't think there are any of those on Flathead Lake.
Mm.
So let's see.
Assuming that sellers are more accepting of contingent offers now since buyers are more scarce.
Like I was saying earlier, we're kind of in that standoff time. Yes, I think some sellers are going to come around here soon. And again, it's going to depend on their motivation if they've got to sell. What's going to be interesting is in the fall, because a lot of people I know are probably thinking, oh, I'm going to sell, but I want to have my house for the summer because it's beautiful up here in the summer. And why would you want to move now? And I'm guessing that come September and October, there's going to be even more houses that come on the market, and people will be a little more motivated because now winter's coming. So I think, yeah, they're going to have to start accepting more contingent offers. But on the other hand, there's still such a demand up here from the last couple of years. And if you watch the video that I'm putting out on Tuesday, I'm kind of talking about our market or our growth up here. So um, I think the sellers they're gonna have to come around soon.
Yeah, and it also depends on what the contingency is. I mean, obviously, when we submit offers, we're always putting in like a financing contingency and inspection contingency, and that's all fine. I think that we're just not quite to the point where if you're saying, I'm moving from wherever and still need to put my house on the market, and so it's going to depend on that going under contract and selling, I think that might still scare people a little bit. But
I guess before I start rambling, what I was trying to say is there's still such a demand from the last couple of years that if a decent house comes on and they price it realistically, it still sells pretty quick, even with
yeah,
the interest rates. Didn't we just have something that I don't
we're
know?
really just seeing things sit because they're overpriced and the sellers aren't ready to bring them down and they think that it's going to work out. But stuff's still selling. I think that's the main issue.
Yep. So
Alan got 4 inches of rain in 30 minutes in Louisiana, and then the humidity came, and the bugs will be out to carry him away tonight. Yeah, I've only been to Louisiana once, and it was for a wedding, and I was just like wet the whole weekend because it's so humid. And I'm very glad that we don't have that here.
yeah, the first time I flew in there for a convention into New Orleans, and I remember getting off the plane and it just that humidity just hits you. It was like walking into an indoor pool.
Yeah.
It was weird. I've never experienced humidity that bad. I mean, that was like, yeah. My first job out of college was in Atlanta, and I thought that was bad, but that was nothing compared to New Orleans. So good luck, Alan.
What is the typical home offer discount versus the list price? 5%?
There's not, I mean, again, K Dub, we in this market right now, this like today's market, um, like last year, there were no discounts. I mean, people were offering over the sales price typically.
Way over. It's still not getting them.
Yeah. And so this year, again, it totally depends because, like we were just saying, some people are still thinking their house is worth way more than it is. And so on something like that, obviously you're going to probably offer less, but they're probably going to say, well, my neighbor got $1 million for his 800 square foot house last year. So mine should be worth that. And it's not. We can't put a number on that. It's a case by case situation.
And if you're working with an agent, they will tell you. I mean, we've been there to tell people you have to offer full price or they're not going to consider it. I mean, we've been in that situation. And then, an agent can also help steer you in the right direction, like what is an appropriate amount to offer. That's still a good offer that they'll consider, that isn't insulting, that kind of thing. But it definitely varies.
And it looks like we have a little debate going on in the comment section about that property tax thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure why anybody would vote for higher taxes, but that's just me.
It's interesting that NMAR, the Montana Association of Realtors, was against it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I disagree with them on that, but there you go.
Eric is seeing price reductions on some properties. Did prices possibly peak last year? We were forced to sell last year because we couldn't buy out a family member. Bidding war ensued. I would say, yeah.
I believe they peaked about 3 months ago, 2 months ago. Yeah, if you had to, well, we have an inside joke on that, but yeah, I was joking that we had a deal that would marked the peak of the market. So, and that was about 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago. So ever since then, it's been definitely tapering off. The prices have not been shooting up like they have been for the last 2 years. They're going to start, leveling off, if not come down a little bit. So you are correct. You are seeing price reductions, which is something we did not see last year.
And then Eric also said it's his dream to buy back in. And if you, again, we always talk about the MLS, but it is the best way to look. So send us an email and we'll send you that. And it's nice to be able to see, like which properties are having price reductions, how much things are being listed for, that kind of thing. Christine asked, is the Flathead Lake water cleared up more since the flood? We heard it was pretty dirty from the floods. I don't know. That's a good question. I also heard like trees floating and like dirtying it up that way, but I'm not sure. You were just there, Will. Did you notice?
Yeah, it seemed, the rivers and everything seemed to clear out. In fact, I was talking to a girl this morning about, she's a big rafter, and she said that the rivers are pretty clean now. A lot more clear. They're not the muddy from all of the runoff from when we did get the floods. So it, because of all the water around here moves so much, it cleans itself up pretty quickly. So it's not anything like it was. It may not be as perfectly clear as it can be yet, but it's getting close. I was down in Big Fork just the other day, and I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. So I hope that answers that question.
There you go. Is there a bookstore in or near Kalispell? Yes. And in Whitefish, we've got libraries, bookstores.
Is there still that? There's one right downtown Kalispell, or there used to be. Do you know the one I'm talking about? It's like 2nd Avenue-ish.
I don't. I just went to the one in Whitefish, but I don't know. I mean, I could ask Keenan because I know he goes in Kalispell. But yes, there are for sure.
The big chain one we used to have. What was the one up by Best Buy? Borders. It was one of those. Those are gone. But yeah, there's local one. There's small local ones around.
Oh yeah, the bookshelf is on Main Street. Yes, I knew I could confidently answer that. There are bookstores. Is there a governor's election this fall?
I don't.
I think it's in 2024.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think it coincides with the presidential. Yeah, I don't think he's up for. I don't think that election. I think this was just the midterms for all of Congress. But I may be wrong. Don't quote me.
Do you think that with property taxes going up, it'll cause more people to sell?
Probably. I'm guessing some people are that's gonna be a pretty big hit. So yeah, I do think that'll probably happen, and maybe people are already. That's possibly why we're seeing more and more listings come on now. It might be that. It might be the fact that we had a worse than the last few year winter. So there could be a lot of reasons we're seeing more listings now. So let's see.
Greetings from Iowa, coming up for third visit in a little over a year. Family moved near Eureka and it's calling us to move. I think the winters would be better there than here. Yeah, Eureka is awesome.
It's a lot more mild. Well, yeah. Compared to Iowa, it's way more mild than Iowa, but it's even more mild than our valley here. So I think you'd be stunned at how much warmer the winters are here compared to Iowa
Yeah.
or Nebraska.
That's right. Do you have any drive-in theaters in Montana? This one I don't know.
We used to have one in Columbia Falls. Was that before your time?
Mm-hmm.
It was right where the Murdochs is. That was a drive-in theater.
Weird.
100 years ago when I was dating my wife, we were going to go there one night. And there was fires and it was smoky and we ended up not going. So I never went. But yeah, it was a little sad when they tore it down, but I guess that's what they do.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. Maybe.
Yeah, as far as other places in the state, I don't know if there are any or not.
What do you know about Ennis, Will?
What do you know about Ennis?
I don't really know much.
Yeah, I can't say I know much about Ennis either. I know where it is, but I'm not. That's quite a ways southeast of here. So sorry about that, but if you're looking down there, we can definitely hook you up with one of our fellow agents in that area.
Is Montana I skipped it. I'll go back to you, Eric. Sorry. Is Montana the next state on queue to experience the influx of migratory industry and capital like Florida and Texas?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a very good question. We'll see. I know that the state is actively trying to promote business here. Just for, because we, like in our area, it's basically the business is tourism. The logging is kind of gone by the wayside. I mean, there's still a couple of lumber mills here that make plywood, but from what it used to be, the logging around here, it's nothing even close to that. And so aside from that, we don't have any real big industry. There's a couple of software companies, but nothing huge. So, with all these people up here and needing good jobs, the state is actively promoting that, but we'll see what happens.
Do you think that Montana will ever have public disclosure of real estate prices? What are the pros and cons of this system that's in most states?
And I do not want to go down this road, but it ties in, unfortunately. But the whole privacy thing, and it ties into the Roe versus Wade. The reason Montana doesn't have that is the reason Montana doesn't have public disclosure of real estate is because they're big on privacy, and they they don't think it's anyone's business, and they don't want to have to give out that information. But now they're kind of in a quandary because the Roe versus Wade thing is all about privacy too. So now they're split on, what should be private and what shouldn't. So I don't know. If you'd asked me that 2 months ago, I would have said no for sure. But now, who knows? We live in weird times. I'll leave it at that. Unless you want to chime in, Hillary.
I don't. And I would say, what are the pros and cons? I don't know. I mean, I think this is the only state that I've done real estate in, so I'm used to it being non-disclosure. I don't really know that I have a strong opinion about it one way or another.
The pros are that you don't, it's private. You can't go down to the courthouse and find out what your next door neighbor paid for his house. I mean, you could probably find out through an agent, but you can't just go down to the courthouse and look that stuff up. And that can be a pro in a lot of people's eyes that don't want it to be anyone's business. The cons is kind of what we saw with the Zillow thing and the Zestimates and, if nobody knows what anything's sold for, then how can you
Yeah.
come up with an estimate? I mean, again, because we have access to it, but things that sell off market or for sale by owner, they don't show up. So there's my 2 cents.
There you go. Best dinner you've had at any restaurant in Montana in the last year. Go.
You go. I have to
Mine
ponder
is
this.
mine is always the cacio e pepe from Abruzzo. It is so good. It's the best.
All right. Well, I will strongly disagree with that and let everybody know that Mambo's and Whitefish is 1,000 times better
You
than
guys,
Abruzzo.
Chow Mambo's is like a chain. I mean, it's good, but he's just wrong here. Just trust me. Abruzzo is like fresh pasta they make there. It's so good.
Have you had the Italian nachos and or the little donut things afterwards at Mambo's?
No.
Well, then, see, there you go. That's what you need to do when we get off of this, and then you will agree with me that there is nothing better than that. But as far as my best meal, I don't know. I'll probably have to go with Tupelo has these seafood specials pretty much every night, and they had scallops there the last time we ate that were very, very good. Everything there is good. I have like 5 things that I rotate every time we go there that, you can't go wrong. They're all good. So that's my answer.
There you go. I also had a meatball sandwich in Polbridge yesterday. That was pretty good.
I will agree with that. And your Huckleberry Bear Claw, did you eat those already?
I did. I had one for breakfast this morning. How are the real estate prices on the east end of the state?
They're way cheaper, Dwayne. If you head straight south, you will. Yeah, it's nothing like it is over here. Even last year or 2 years ago, it's way cheaper. What do we got next? Oh, Kirk has a good one. No, Kirk, we did not.
Hi, Kirk. Oh my gosh. And no, we didn't.
I think he got run out of the state. I'm not sure.
Oh, Kirk, how you doing? Kirk just bought a house in Lakeside.
Yeah.
When will property taxes be assessed next?
They kind of do it because that's a big job. So I think they do it it's not like everybody gets hit at the same time. It's kind of I think this, again, I'm not positive on this, but I think it's every 2 years. So like Hillary's house may get it next or this year, and I may get it next. I believe is how it works. So you'll be able to tell when you look at the property records of a house if you're interested in buying something, or if you live here already. I'm not sure where you're commenting from. You can call the assessor's office and they'll tell you when the big day is going to be for you and how lucky you're going to be with the new value.
Do you think general labor jobs would be available along Highway 200 over by Trout Creek and Thompson Falls? And what's the market like in that area?
General labor, sure. Their general labor jobs are all over the place. There's a help wanted sign in pretty much every business around here, and I'm sure it's the same over there. The market is very similar to here, slowing down a little bit, but again, that area is growing in demand, just like all of Western Montana, because it's beautiful along the river there, and that whole Highway 200 corridor is very nice. fact, Hillary just sold a house up there not too long ago in Thompson Falls.
Indeed. It is very pretty.
All right, we're running out of Eric would not be happy if he saw old Gavin.
Well,
I'm guessing he kind of hung pretty low. I don't think he wasn't in any of the 4th of July parades. I know that. So I don't think he would get a huge reception up here.
I didn't even know he was here. You have to remember, I've been locked in my house upstairs for the past like 8 days.
Yeah. Where are we time wise? Oh, we're almost at an hour. So I guess we're at the end of the questions. It looks like there's still a debate going on. And we'll leave that, stay in the comment section. So anyway, we will be back again in 2 weeks. And thank you for tuning in. And be sure to watch the new video on this week. And if you want to see more of Hillary, she will be on a week from Tuesday. She'll be starring in a video. And after our Bigfoot hike, she will also be the star of that one as well.
I mean, yeah, I'm going to find Bigfoot.
Hillary's convinced that we are going to actually see Bigfoot. So if we do, then that will guarantee that we have the highest ranking video of all time. So be prepared. We might be world famous after that hike. You never know.
You never know.
So anyway, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for joining in, and we'll see everybody in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.